डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Hello friends, I am Dr. Himanshu Patel and I am working as an assistant professor in School of Computer Science of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad, and I am your instructor for these modules. In today's session, we will discuss about application resources. In today's session, we will learn about application resources. So, what are application resources are? In Android project, we have one directory hierarchy for application resources. So, we will understand resource directory hierarchy within Android project. We will look at different types of applications resources that you can use in your application. So, we will get overview of resource types. We will learn how to store different resource value types inside resource directory, and we will learn how to access resources stored inside this directory programmatically. Then we will learn how to reference system resources. Learning objective for these module is, after studying these module, learner should be able to define application resources. He or she can list different types of resources. You can understand resource directory hierarchy within Android project and how resources are stored. You will also learn how to access user resources and system resources programmatically. Let us start with application resource introduction. We have already write down some application in Android Studio. So, you will find all Android application are composed of two things. First, functionality or code instruction which is written with Java file, and the second part that we are going to discuss today is data or application resources or simply resources. The functionality is the code that determine how your application behaves. These includes any algorithm that make the application run. For example, we write down instruction for displaying toast. So, that is called functionality. I want to display a particular message when user clicks on button. So, this is called functionality. So, for that we write down Java code. The second part is resources. Resources includes text strings, images and icons. When you install your app, some default icon is displayed as your application icon, right? So, you can also change that. So, app icons, audio files, videos and other data used by the application. So, these are the different types of resources that you can store inside your resource directory within Android project, and you can either use these resources at design time or you can use these resources at runtime. Android resources files are stored separately from the Java class file in Android project. So, we are not mixing data and coding together. So, we keep these resources or data separate from Java file, and whenever we require we can use it. Most common resource types are stored in XML. We have already learned one application resource, that is our layout file. We have already designed some layout for our app demonstration. So, basically all these layout are internally stored as XML. So that XML part is hidden from you, but inside it stored as a XML file. So most common resource types are stored in XML format. You can also store raw data files, that is audio, video, etc. So this is how we can use application resources along with coding part. Now let us get application resources overview. Resources are the additional file and static content that your code uses, such as bitmaps, layout definition, user interface, string, animation, instruction and more. So you will see that all these are defined as a separate content or as a either as a XML file or as a raw file. You should always externalize app resources such as images and string from your code, so that you can maintain them independently. Whenever you require, you can use it. You should also provide alternative resource for specific device configuration by grouping them in specially named resource directory. At runtime, Android use the appropriate resource based on the current configuration, as we discussed earlier. For example, you might want to provide different user interface layout depending on the screen size or different string depending on the language setting. So for that you have to keep resource separately. Once you externalize your app resources, you can access them using resource ID that are generated in your project's R class. Remember, in SAT content view, we write down r.layout.activity_main. So for all application resource, a separate ID is created, and based on the type of resource, you can access it through its ID. We have already understand a project in Android Studio. So while you create project, Android Studio creates this resource directory hierarchy within Android project. So let us try to understand this resource directory hierarchy. So on screen you can see that this is our resource directory hierarchy, and the top directory is res, and inside that there is separate directories like drawables, layout, mipmaps, values and themes. Now resources are organized in a strict directory hierarchy within Android project that you can see on the screen. All resources must be stored under the resource project directory in a specially named subdirectory that must be lowercase. Now if you look at all the directory names, you will find all directory names are in lowercase. Remember, it is mandatory to provide all the directory and file name in lowercase without using any special characters. Now different resource types are stored in a different directory. Each resource type corresponds to a specific resource subdirectory name. For example, in mipmap, we will store our application icon. Inside drawable, we will store all the drawable resources, which may include images also. Inside layout directory, we will store all our layout files. Likewise, there is each directory for different types of resource. As you can see in the figure, the resource directory contains all the resources in a subdirectory, an image resource, layout resource, mipmap directories for launching icon, and string and color resource file. Now this is a default resource structure, right? But we can have other directory also that we can include inside this resource directory hierarchy. So now let us try to understand what type of directory that we can have inside this res folder. So, first directory is animator. Now, these animator directory includes the XML file that defines property animation. ANIM, animation, short form of animation, stores XML file that defines tween animation, and color directory defines XML file that defines state list of colors. Similarly, drawable directory includes all bitmap files which may be PNG, 9-page PNG, JPG, GIF, or it may be XML file also. Now, in case of scalable vector graphics, we have XML file. The next directory is MIPMAP. It stores drawable files for different launcher icons, densities. Then we have layout file that we have already used. It defines XML file that defines user interface layout. Then if our app used menu, context menu or option menu, then we can store these XML files which defines app menu such as option menu, context menu or sub menu as an XML file. So, this kind of file we can put inside menu directory. Then there is a row directory. Row directory stores arbitrary files to save in their row form. The next directory is values directory. It stores XML file that contains simple values such as string, integer and colors. The next directory is XML directory, which stores arbitrary XML file that can be read at runtime by calling resources.getXML. The next is a font file. If your app use any custom font, then you can store those fonts inside this font directory. So, font files with extensions such as TTF, which stands for True Type Font, OTF font or TTC or XML file that includes font family element. These are the various types of resource directory which is there inside your resource directory. Let us try to understand different type of resources. So, first resource is animation resource. Animation resource can define one or two type of animation. The first type of animation is property animation. So, it creates an animation by modifying an object's property values over set of period of time with an animator. So, basically it use property to show animation. Now, we will have separate session for animation. So, we are just getting overview of different types of resources here. We will discuss animation in great detail in separate lecture in future videos. The second type of animation is view animation. There are two types of animation that you can do with the view animation framework. The first is tween animation. So, what is tween animation? It creates an animation by performing series of transformation on a single image with an animation. Now, what is transformation? You can either resize the object, you can rotate the object, you can zoom in and zoom out that object. Depending on various types of transformation or series of transformation, we will do animation effect. The another type of animation is called frame animation. It creates animation by showing a sequence of image in order with an animation drawable. If we take one simple example, I want to create photo albums which displays different photos one by one. So, this kind of animation we can do with the help of frame animation. The first type of resource is animation resource. The second type of resource is called color state list resource. A color state list is an object you can define in XML that you can apply as a color, but will actually change colors depending on the state of the view object to which it is applied. Now, let us take one simple example. For example, a button we get that we have already used can exist in one of several different states. It may be pressed, it may be focused. When you move mouse pointer over button, it is called focus status. When you click, it is called pressed. Similarly, if it is in not any state, then it is called neither. And using a color state list, you can provide different color during each state. For example, when button is clicked, you want to show different color. When you move your mouse pointer to button, you want to show different color, and in normal case, you want to show some other color. So, these kind of functionality we can implement using color state list resource. The third type of resource is called drawable resource. A drawable resource is a general concept for a graphic that can be drawn to the screen and which you can retrieve with APIs such as getDrawable with ID as an integer or apply to another XML resource with attributes such as Android::drawable and Android::icon. So, it may be some shape or it may be some bitmap. Now, there are several different types of drawables: bitmap files, 9-page files, layer list, state list, level list, transition drawable, inset drawable, clip drawable, scale drawable and shape drawable. We will learn each of these in future video. Right now, we will remember that these kind of resources are called drawable resources, and we can store these drawable resource inside resource directory and we can access either it at a runtime or design time. The next type of resource is called layout and menu resource. We have already used layout resource. A layout resource defines the architecture for the user interface in an activity or component of a user interface. We have already learned layout. A menu resource defines an application menu such as option menu, context menu or it may be sub menu that can be inflated or shown with menu inflator. We will also learn how to use menu resource in your application. The next type of resource is called string resource, and a string resource provides text string for your application with optional text styling and formatting. Normally, it is displayed as a plain text, and we can have three types of resource that can provide your application with strings. First is normal string or single individual string. These are XML resource that provides a string, single string with some name through which you can access that string. The second type of string is string array, which is XML resource that provide an array of string and you can access individual elements of string array with index. The third type of string is called quantity string or plurals, and these are again XML resource that carries different string for pluralization. Now, all strings are capable of applying some styling, markup and formatting argument. So, we can have formatting also with this kind of string. The next type of resource is called style resource. A style resource defines the format and look for a user interface. For example, it may include text color, it may include background color, it may include background image, it may include font information, etc. A style can be applied to an individual view from within a layout file or to an entire activity or application from within the manifest file. Then we can have font resource also. A font resource defines a custom font that you can use in your app. Fonts can be individual font files or a collection of font files known as a font family and defined in XML. Now we can have bundled font. You can bundle font as resource in an app. Fonts are compiled in R files and are automatically available in the system as a resource. You can then access these fonts with the help of the font resource type. So basically it is a group of font that you can use in your app. The second type of font is called downloadable font. A downloadable font resource defines a custom font that you can use in an app. This font is not available in app itself. Instead, the font is retrieved from a font provider. Now let us look at some other resource type also. So we can define boolean value, which is called bool resource. It is XML resource that carries boolean value. Then we can have color resource, which is XML resource that carries color value in a hexadecimal format. Then we can have dimensions, which is a XML resource that carries dimension value with a unit of measure such as dp, sp, pixel, inch, millimeter, etc. And we can also define IDs, which provides unique identifier for application resource and components. We can also define integer values as a XML resource. We can define integer array or some typed array which use for array of drawables. So these are the other type of resource that also can be defined inside resource directory. Let us try to understand color resources. So it is basically color value defined in XML, and colors is specified with an RGB value and alpha channel. You can use color resource any place that accepts hexadecimal color value. You can also use color resource when drawable resource is expected in XML. For example, you can write down like this: Android drawable is equal to @color / green. So it defines green color. The value always begin with pound character and then followed by the alpha, red, green, blue information in one of the formats shown on screen. It may be pound sign with RGB value, it may be pound sign with alpha and RGB value, it may be pound sign with 2 hexadecimal number for red, green and blue, and it may be pound sign with 2 digit each for alpha, red, green and blue. So on screen you can see one example. Here inside a resource we define 2 color. First color name is opaque red and it is specified first format shown on the screen in RGB. So here it is has or pound sign with F00. So F means highest red. We know that hexadecimal digits are from 0 to 9 and then A, B, C, D, E and F. So F is denoted for highest value and 0 is denoted for low value. The second color is defined in 4th format that you can see on the screen, and name is translucent red. This is how we can define color resource. Then we can have dimension resource, which is used to specify dimension. There are number of units of measure for dimension. It may be dp, which is density independent pixel. It may be sp, which is scale independent pixel. It may be point. Now what is point? 1 point equals 1 divided by 72 of an inch. So if I write down 72 point, it means 1 inch. Then we can have measurement in pixels, millimeters or inch also. So on screen you can see how can we define dimension resources, and give some name to it, like text view underscore height always refers to 25 dp or density independent pixel. Similarly, ball underscore radius represent 30 dp and font size represents 16 scale independent pixels. This is how we can define dimension resources. The next type of resource is ID resource, which is unique resource ID defined in XML. So, using name you provide the item element. The Android developer tools create unique integer in your project's r.java class, which you can use as an identifier for an application resource. For example, a view in your user interface layout. In find view by ID, we write down this r.id.button save. So, this refers to ID resource. Now, you can see how can we define ID resource inside resource directory. Now, similarly, we can define integer array and integer resource inside resource directory. So, the first image shows how can we define individual integer value. So, max speed refers to 75 and minimum speed refers to 5. Similarly, you can see integer array with name bits. So, bit may be 4, 8, 16 or 32. Bits 0 refers to 4, bits 1 refers to 8, bits 2 refers to 16 and bits 3 refers to 32. So, we can access individual element of integer array using some index values which starts from 0. So, this is how we can define integer and integer array. The next type of resource is typed array. Here a typed array defines in XML like other resources. You can use these to create an array of other resources such as drawable. The array is not required to be homogeneous. It means it may be of different types also. So, you can create an array of mixed resource type or different resource types. You must be aware of what and where the data types are in the array, so that you can properly obtain each item. So, here you can see inside the typed array, the first element is icons, which defines 3 icons: home, settings and logout, and the second array refers to colors, which defines 3 colors, right. So, using icons to be stored inside some icon value, and the color must be refers to some color value. So, that you must be aware of where and how this data are stored inside typed array. We have learned how to define resources, where to store it, but once it is stored there, we need to access these resource programmatically. You can always use all these resource defined inside resource directory in design time or while designing layouts, but at runtime or while your app is running, how to access these resource. For example, I want to change some title of string, then I need to access different string stored inside this resource file. So, for that I need to access this resource programmatically. When Android application is compiled, a R class gets generated which contains resource ID for all the resources available in your resource/any directory. You can use R class to access that resource using subdirectory and resource name or directly through resource ID. During your application development, you will need to access defined resource either in your code or in your layout XML files. Now, how to do that? We will take some examples. So, the first example is to access resource drawable myimage.png and set an image view. Now, remember we have drawable directory inside resource directory. So, what you have to do is you have to add this myimage.png file that you want to set in image view. So, first step is to store this myimage.png file inside your resource drawable directory, and we assume that there is one image view in your layout file and we want to set this image in this image view. So, we first refers to that image view with ID my image view. So, we write down find view by ID to refers to that image view, and using set image resource method which takes some ID of drawable as an argument. So, here I write down r dot drawable. Now, r is our generated class and drawables refers to drawable directory and my image refers to my image name. It should be always in lowercase. And how can I refer my image.png file programmatically? Like r.drawable, which is directory which contains my image.png, and then the name of image. Remember, here we do not write down extension. We have to just write down name of file, right? So, the first line of code make use of r.id.myimageview to get image view defined with id myimageview in a layout, and second line of code makes use of r.drawable myimage to get an image with name myimage available in drawable subdirectory under resource directory. So, I hope you understand this example. The second example, how to access resource programmatically, is assume that we have stored these files string.xml inside values folder, which is already there. Now, string.xml has this definition. So, here we define one string name hello, and the actual text is or actual string is hello comma world. Now, how to refer this string in text view programmatic? So, first line refers to that text view and second line actually displays or set text which is stored inside this string.xml file. So, here we write down r.string.hello. Now, remember, string is the XML file stored inside values folder and hello is the name of string. So, this is how we can refer to string resource. The third example is assume that we have activity underscore main.xml file as our layout file. We have already learned this code. So, inside set content view we can refer to our activity underscore main as a r.layout. Remember, layout is the subdirectory and activity underscore main is our file name. But remember, again we are not specifying extension here. So, just write down activity underscore main, and when you write down r.layout, it will automatically show you the list of all available layout files. So, there is no chance of mistake while writing code. So, this is how we can access layout programmatically, right, and we have already used this code many times before. Let us understand how to access resource in layout file. Now, consider XML file which is stored inside values folder with string.xml, and it defines two values, one is color and another is string. So, color name is opaque red which is defined with hexadecimal format # and RGB. So, F refers to red, 0 refers to green and 0 refers to blue. So, it refers to basically red color, pure red, and string name is hello and text is or string is actual string is hello. Inside edit text we can specify it inside text color @ then color, and when you write down slash all the available colors are displayed. So, from there you have to choose opaque red which is defined inside this file, and when you write down @ and string, all the string defined inside values folder will be displayed, and from there you have to choose hello because I want to use this string in layout file. So, this is how we can access resource inside layout file, and we can also access all the resources programmatically, and the use is very simple. While you are using in XML layout, you have to always start with @ and then subdirectory which refers to the type of resource and slash, and all the available resource will be displayed automatically. So, it is very easy to use either inside XML layout or programmatically, because while we refer programmatically we use same notation R capital dot then subdirectory and then dot and then whatever file name is there we can use that. So, this is how we can access resource either at design time or programmatically. Let us sum up. In this module, we have learned about application resources, different type of resources. We understand resource directory hierarchy within Android project. We have learned how resources are stored, and we also learn how to access user resources and system resources programmatically. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्यायः परमः